the winter as a whole, I regret to say, is going to be exceptionally difficult for the NHS. And general practice is going to be absolutely at the forefront of this, unfortunately. That is irrespective of whether we have a relatively low but non-trivial amount of COVID, or whether we actually have a further surge in the winter. And I think if you ask 100 modellers, you're going to get over 100 answers exactly as to how this is going to go out. I think what we're confident of is the very top end that we would have faced potentially if things had gone wrong last winter is not going to happen, barring an extraordinary escape mutant variant. But let's assume we don't get something which actually can basically evade our defences completely. I think the top end risks are much lower, but we could certainly go up. We're only 2 to 3 doubling times away from a really quite serious pressure on the NHS. I mean, it's already serious, but one that actually would be very difficult to deal with. So the margin of error is quite small. Zero COVID over this winter is a completely impossible dream, except in the minds of a few, but it is an impossible dream, let me be clear about that. What we hope is we can keep it at relatively low levels, but we've got flu resurging. There's a lot of debate about whether we'll still have a low flu year, because a lot of people are still doing actually they're meeting many fewer people than they did 2 years ago. So maybe that'll hold the line. But on the other hand, we have less natural immunity in the system. We could have a really serious spike, and we could have a flu vaccine that's not very well matched to the flu we get, because there hasn't been enough flu circulating in the southern hemisphere really to get a proper fix on this. We've definitely got some quite serious other respiratory infections, as all of you will be aware, going around. And we have all the usual winter pressures on cardiovascular and slips and trips and everything else that goes with it. So if you layer all of that on top of one another, and then you add on the fact there's no doubt that we're now seeing, as we knew from the beginning would happen, people who delayed coming to see doctors have therefore coming at a later stage of their disease and therefore more seriously ill. And the fact that we've got to catch up on things like screening, and we've got to maintain the vaccination momentum. That's an extraordinarily tall order when you add all of those up. And it's no one element of that, it's the putting them together that is the issue. And I think, I wish I could claim that the sunlit uplands and it'll all be fantastic by Christmas, but I can, sadly, I'm afraid that isn't what I can say. But we are in so much better place than we were before. And I'll return to where I did at the beginning. We are in so much better place in large part to the actions of you and all of your colleagues who are not in this room, but who you all represent. I mean, you have done an absolutely amazing job. It's been really pretty miserable for a lot of people, and for some people very dangerous, as you rightly pointed out at the beginning, and we should very much appreciate that. And we are definitely not out of the woods yet. But where we would have been if general practice had not done what it is catastrophically worse. So just a huge thank you again to all of you for what has been a remarkable 2 years, albeit a very difficult one.
We are just so grateful to you. We couldn't have asked for a more talented, more value-driven person to lead us through what has been a phenomenal time in this country. The public, the profession, and even government, thank you enormously for what you do. We can only guess what the job is like. You do it just amazingly well. So thank you so much indeed. Well done.
Thank you.